Welcome to Baz Travels. After driving 14,826 kilometers through 24 states and Washington, D.C., I've seen rocket launches to the Grand Canyon and Hoover Dam. I've explored Route 66, ghost towns, deserts, snow, and beaches on both coasts. From Vegas casinos to Alcatraz, the White House to Hollywood. Join me for a journey of the ordinary and the extraordinary.
Loading destination. Simulation starting in 3, 2, 1. To look around, move your phone or tablet. Click and drag if on a computer or move your head if using a VR headset. Please like and subscribe.
The Glore Psychiatric Museum preserves more than artifacts. It preserves atmospheres and lived experiences shaped by decades of institutional history. Reaching the second floor often begins with a ride in the historic elevator. That short ascent feels like moving through time rather than simple vertical space. The doors close with mechanical certainty and the cabin rises steadily upwards. The motion is deliberate and reassuring. It creates anticipation before you even step into the exhibits. The elevator reflects an era of institutional engineering and long-term durability. It was built for constant daily use within a working hospital. Staff, patients, and supplies once traveled between floors inside that compact enclosure. The structure feels solid and purposeful under your feet. Riding it creates a direct physical connection to the building's past. The experience is not theatrical, yet it feels authentic and grounded. It reminds visitors that this museum was once a functioning medical institution. The ascent becomes a quiet prelude to the deep human stories above. When the doors open on the middle floor, the narrative shifts noticeably. This level explores daily life inside the institution with greater depth and context. Exhibits here move beyond the early restraint devices displayed below. They examine routines, work assignments, and personal identity within hospital walls. The atmosphere feels more human and less mechanical. Attention turns from institutional systems towards individual experience. Displays highlight occupational therapy programs once described as progressive innovations. Patients participated in farming, sewing, woodworking, and maintenance tasks. Administrators believe structured labor encouraged discipline, routine, and emotional stability. Photographs show groups working in fields, gardens, and hospital workshops. Tools and handcrafted items remain carefully arranged on display. These objects reveal effort, skill, and moments of earned pride. They suggest that work sometimes offered structure within confinement. The second floor also explores patient creativity with clarity and respect. Artwork produced inside the hospital reflects emotion, perception, and resilience. Drawings, paintings, and crafts provide insights into internal worlds rarely documented. These pieces challenge stereotypes about mental illness and capacity. They show imagination and expression rather than silence or absence. The effect is powerful without requiring exaggeration or spectacle. Creativity becomes evidence of individuality within an institutional environment. Medical evolution is addressed here with broader historical framing. Exhibits explain how diagnostic categories changed across generations of practice. Early labels often reflected limited knowledge of social bias. Later classifications attempted greater clinical precision and structure. Charts and documents reveal shifting language, theory, and authority. Visitors see how definitions shape treatment paths and expectations. The displays show how institutional authority influenced diagnosis and daily reality. This floor also examines the role of nurses and attendants in detail. Staff members carried significant responsibility inside the hospital structure. Uniforms and records illustrate daily duties, expectations, and strict hierarchy. Training materials reveal how authority and obedience were organized. These exhibits add depth to institutional history. They show care and control existing side by side within one system. The complexity of staff roles becomes clearer as you move through the displays. Personal belongings displayed here focus back on individual lives. Trunks, letters, clothing, and small objects humanize confinement. Some items were donated by families seeking remembrance. Others were preserved within administrative archives. Each object represents a life once shaped by this institution. The impact becomes quieter yet more personal. These details remind visitors that policy decisions affected real human beings. One section addresses controversial treatments from the 20th century. Information panels explain procedure once promoted as modern solutions. Context is provided carefully without sensational framing. Visitors are encouraged to consider how medical certainty can exceed understanding. The tone remains measured but direct. The exhibits ask difficult questions without supplying easy conclusions. The middle floor balances documentation with emotional weight. It does not rely on spectacle to hold attention. Instead, it presents complexity through evidence and testimony. The exhibits show how daily life unfolded inside a large psychiatric hospital. They reveal ambition, structure, creativity, and hardship intertwined with one institution. The story feels layered and grounded in lived experience. Riding the elevator up may feel simple at first. Stepping into this floor feels far more layered and immediate. The exhibit deepens the story introduced on the level below. They move from systems to people without losing historic context. The result is history that feels grounded, human, and compelling. The second floor expands the narrative with clarity, depth, and a sustained impact.
Simulation terminated. Please comment, like and subscribe.